Here it is, a groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something to break the monotony of all that hardcore dance that has gotten to be.
Yeah, one of my favorites from back in the day. It is 8:55. Look at the disclosure before we get to today's 6:30 club at 8:55 post jobs report.
And think of the summers of the past. Adjust the face and let the house pop in my feet. Let me run around and put your thought on tools and look back.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 8:55. It is May 3rd. I hope everyone's feeling well. It's been a week, right? A little craziness. Had some earnings. We had the Fed, and now we had the jobs report. So we were kind of tight, kind of set up, ready to roll. And, let's get into some of the action. Before we say or go, let me just have to, for compliance, I got to post the VTF. You could say hello to the Alpha team. This is the Alpha team. Okay, they get to see all these charts. You see all these charts. Oh, wait, I gotta press present. Hold on. Here we go. Let's go. Entire screen. Look at this. There we go. Let's see. I'll show it real quick. Let's see. Do I do this one? Yeah. So there's the Alpha team, guys. That's what where we have about 258 people right now, just talking about levels, talking a little bit about life. Looking out for things, pointing out opportunities, and they get to see what I'm in. I'm not in a ton of things, but they get to see, how it goes. So I did come in today, long Tesla, long NVDA, long Amazon, long IBIT. And as you can see, I did go over the strategy to be long options for Apple, the 177 and a halves, and then also bought some 506 calls. So anyway, you don't have to be in everything to make money, but you have to be trading to make a living. And sometimes cash, is a position, isn't it? Anyway, let me see if any of my dogs tuned in so I can say hello. What up? I got Sully in the house. Good morning. Got oversold stock hunter. All right, that's cool. It's good to be a stock hunter, right? Anyway, let's get a little bit of shot here. By the way, these are the boys that I coach from lacrosse. Milburn Varsity Lax is doing great, 8-3. We got our counties tomorrow against Columbia High School. So you always want to, youth sports, right? Little rehearsal for life. So anyway, here's the wedge. This is the wedge. This is the S&P cash. This is what we've been focusing on. If you remember, we put my wife's blood in the street account to work here at 49.50. Like the close was 49.60. That I don't touch until we make new highs. That's an intermediate account. But from there, we've had a lot of good trades. Your first move up, if you remember, into Meta and IBM that missed. You had a higher low, a higher high, another higher low. And yesterday, post FOMC, you had a chance to get involved as it held. So now what? Question is, how much of today's gap do we hold? How much early strength stays intact to base whether or not this wedge breaks to the upside? And then we'll have some kind of gap, just like a pro earnings gap, to trade against. So anyway, if you remember yesterday, I talked to you guys about Apple. Apple basically has been out of play for some people like 5 months, but actually, if you look here, Apple's been out of play for 11 months. So since, this is July, this is December. So to me, after 10 months of consolidation, just because of an elevated PE, I was like, you know what? I want to buy some calls. Not all of them work, but something like this will make up for a bunch of the others. So we bought the 177 and a halves, and I figured it can get to 187.50. And if you look at Apple right now, Apple did pretty much hit a high of 186.30. So these options that we bought for like $1.50, probably going to be close to $8. So that's nice. Anyway, if you don't have options and you don't have it and you're looking to play it afterwards, we talk about pro earnings gap plays. We'll see how much of today's gap holds. Perhaps you could buy verse that, and then we get a new active sequence to the upside based on a huge buyback, huge dividend, a great place to hide. It's supporting its own stock. You're making money, and there could be appreciation. And if you look at the weekly chart here, you'll see we have two descending channels here. Last time it went back to highs. Now you're gapping above this. We're right around here. There's still room there, and you're still just in a huge channel. And at some point, those all-time highs will get taken out. It's just a matter of when and how much risk you want to take on. So Apple, it'd be nice to have Apple back in the game. I love when Apple's in the game. Anyway, it hasn't been for a while, and we'll see if today starts a new active sequence. As far as other things are concerned, some guys like, hey, Red Dog, what's the pecking order of mega cap tech? Because it's all different. Sometimes you don't have to be near all-time highs to have a good setup. Setups happen at lower levels. Setups happen at middle levels, whatever. At this point, I would think the number one name in mega cap tech is Amazon. Why? If you look at Amazon here, Amazon earnings are out of the way. Okay, it was one of the reasons why the market held up, and you could base your risk off it. You could be long versus 179 and then let go sideways and then perhaps take this and go to all-time highs, or verse here. But ultimately, look how close that is to all-time highs. So Amazon, is something as a swing active trader. If you like to trade relative strength, you could be long versus this spot or that spot. So I'm in a bid and I'm going to trade around it. And we also want to see if power comes back, right? Can anything be bought higher and go higher? Yesterday, Qualcomm gave you that clue. Qualcomm had a great report, solid guidance, and it gapped above the prior resistance and actually wasn't sold. It wasn't sold. So that gave you some clues that the market's a little healthier than when it was starting the week. You always have to look for clues from the market, not from your next door neighbor or from the guys on TV that play traders that just blah, blah, blah. I'm one of them sometimes too. I'll be on Fox Business next Wednesday, but I'm just saying, let the stocks tell you. And this stock said that, hey, maybe other names could act well. Because if you remember, to start the week, Google was a little disappointing. Google had this big pro earnings gap, and it had to come in, but the market also had to come in. So it just wasn't ready to sustain such higher prices. So now this gap is here. So if you got stopped out when it broke this area, maybe you rebought versus 162.50, and then you'll see if this can move to the upside. And then on a different note, Tesla, Tesla gave us a great option play. This was one of the few earnings plays that worked for me also, where you had a big pro earnings gap. And if you bought versus that after you played the options, which is a strategy that we use, that you can click in that little box and get the, the evergreen, educational model for, you actually were long for this big gap up. And now it's pulled back. You have a bottom tail. We'll see, can it get above this and continue? I am long this overnight. It did a little red dog reversal yesterday, so that's one of the positions also. So there's definitely a lot of things to do if you're trying to manage your positions, manage your process, manage your style, and not overdo things. How's Apple expected to do the rest of the day? Well, I'm not a fortune teller. All I know is I will sell my options in Apple and do well, and then I'll see where the first 30, 60-minute low is and maybe put the stock on versus that. So then you have a gauge, right? The pro earnings gap strategy. Look it up. Click the link. Anyway, with that being said, the other thing that I'm going to just quickly go over is NVDA. NVIDIA, best in breed, AI semi, nice chart, great pattern. I am long it overnight. I did trim a little bit. I'm going to hold some. This also will give some clues. Can anything have power? Can anything be sustained to the upside? Yesterday, this gave you some clues. It was the strongest stock all day. So that told you, hey, maybe you could be in NVIDIA. I was long into the jobs report because I'm like, hey, if the jobs report's hot and it comes in, chances are I could buy more. If it's market friendly, this is something that should go. And so far, so good. Your next level is 883. So anyway, with all this said, you don't have to be in everything to net money. You just have to have a process and a plan. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and being part of the community. I'm at 200,000 individuals from around the world that I interact with. It's been, I don't know, 15 years. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to be able to meet so many of you guys around the world, and it makes life very interesting. I love Twitter for that. I found a lot of great subscribers that I spend the entire day with on the Alpha team, as well as in Red All Access from Twitter. Some of you guys are just part of the public community, some in the private. It's up to you what you want to do. Some people just like me in little doses, like my wife. I get it. It's fine. But if you trade for a living, and you hang out, and there are people who've been with me for 10, 15 years, chances are they've learned process, discipline, routine. Maybe they got themselves an ice barrel. Maybe they do the sauna. Maybe they did an Ironman, or maybe they just like to sweat. They say, how come I can't get lucky? I'm like, well, you got to sweat more to get lucky. Meaning, opportunity meets preparation, and the more time and sweat you put into it, the luckier or success you will have. Success and luck. It's good to have a little luck. Maybe pick up some garbage on the floor, put in the trash can. That'll create some karma. I do that every day at 5 o'clock at 7-Eleven. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys. Just wanted to say what's up. We'll see how much of today's gap holds. And then we'll base trades from there moving forward. I try and be as transparent as possible, let you know what I'm doing. If you want to see what I'm doing all day long and interact, then you got to be part of the Alpha team and Red All Access. If not, listen, your prerogative. Go Knicks. Have a great weekend. Get out there, get some fresh air. And what people say is, if you wake up in the morning, you're ahead of the game, and have some gratitude. Later, guys.